Elon Musk, one of the wealthiest and most well-known men in the world, is often associated with technological innovations and visionary ideas. But what if he set aside his luxurious life to experience a moment like any ordinary person? That's exactly what he did. And what started as a simple bus ride turned into an event capable of melting even the coldest hearts. In this emotional account, you'll see how Elon, upon encountering a 5-year-old girl, alone and vulnerable, decided to take an action that would change both their lives forever. Between mystery and compassion, every moment brings a powerful lesson about humanity, generosity, and the unexpected encounters life can offer. Get ready, because the ending of this story will surprise you in ways you can't imagine. That gray morning, with clouds promising persistent rain, Elon Musk, the visionary billionaire, made a decision that would surprise even those closest to him. Instead of boarding his luxurious jets or gliding in a state-of-the-art electric car, he decided to try something different: public transportation. For many, this might seem like a simple choice, but for someone surrounded by innovation and privilege, it was a dive into an almost forgotten world. The idea came after a casual conversation with a friend about how much he missed genuine, simple moments, like observing people and their everyday lives. Musk wanted to reconnect with the essence of the world he once vowed to transform. So, dressed in a modest hoodie and cap, he boarded the bus, determined to blend in with the other passengers as if he were just another commuter. Inside the vehicle, the scent of busy days and the muffled sound of conversations evoked an unexpected feeling of nostalgia. He watched the faces around him, each carrying its own silent story. At the back, a couple was arguing softly, while at the front, an elderly man with trembling hands read a newspaper. Elon found himself surrounded by a pulsing humanity he hadn't experienced in years. However, it was an unexpected detail that caught his attention: a little girl, sitting alone in one of the seats. She clutched a worn teddy bear so tightly that it seemed to be her lifeline to face the world. Something about her seemed out of place, incomplete, and Musk couldn't ignore the unease growing inside him. Elon couldn't take his eyes off the little girl, whose presence seemed out of sync with everything around her. She had brown hair tied in messy braids, and a lost look that seemed to search for something that wasn't there. The teddy bear in her arms was so worn out that its seams were nearly undone, as if it had endured years of imaginary battles. Her silence was deafening amid the chaos of the moving bus. At every stop, Elon expected to see an adult approach the girl, someone responsible for her. But no one did. She remained there, motionless, staring out the window as if seeking answers to questions she didn't even know how to ask. The absence of any supervision began to weigh on the environment, and Elon felt something wasn't right. The feeling that this was more than just a distracted child unsettled him. When the bus jolted over a pothole, the teddy bear nearly fell from her hands, and she grabbed it with a quick reflex, as if it were a priceless treasure. Elon realized she was alone. No one was looking out for her, no one called her name. Determined to act, he scanned the bus for any adult who might be concerned, but all he found were faces engrossed in their own routines. Elon knew he had to do something. It wasn't just the discomfort of seeing a vulnerable child, it was the human instinct to protect the most fragile. He stood up slowly, careful not to scare her, and walked in her direction. He didn't yet know exactly what he would do or say, but he was sure he couldn't ignore Maddie. Something bigger was about to unfold, and he was determined to find out what it was. Elon approached carefully, choosing each step as if walking on unfamiliar terrain. He knew he might scare her, but something inside him screamed that he had to act. "Hi there, little one," he said, his voice as gentle as he could make it. Maddie looked up, her gaze a mix of distrust and relief at finally being noticed. "Are you alone?" he asked, crouching to be at her eye level. The girl clutched the teddy bear to her chest, hesitant, but eventually nodded. "I don't know where my mom is," Maddie whispered, her voice so fragile it was barely audible over the hum of the bus engine. Elon's heart tightened. How could such a small child be lost, alone, with no one to guide her? He realized he needed to act quickly, as the bus was nearing its final stop. Turning to the driver, Elon signaled for his attention. "We have a situation here," he explained. The driver, surprised, confirmed that no one had reported a missing child or anything unusual during the ride. Time seemed to slow as everyone tried to decide what to do. Maddie, meanwhile, remained quiet, clinging to the only thing that gave her a sense of security: her teddy bear. When the bus finally stopped, the tension reached its peak. Maddie still didn't know what would happen, but something about Elon's presence seemed to calm her. He committed himself to staying by her side. While waiting for the police, who had been contacted by the driver, Elon felt a mix of responsibility and urgency. He knew this moment was crucial, and his decision could change Maddie's life forever. The sound of sirens in the distance brought a subtle sense of relief, but the tension still hung in the air. Maddie clutched her teddy bear even tighter, as if the sound signaled something unknown and slightly frightening. Elon stayed by her side, offering words of comfort as they waited. "It's going to be okay," he said, trying to convey a calmness he wasn't entirely sure he felt. When the police finally boarded the bus, the atmosphere shifted. It was time to act. The officers began asking Maddie questions, but her answers were short, almost whispered. All they could gather was that she had become separated from her mother while walking in the city center. Elon watched intently, feeling a mix of frustration and empathy. Maddie couldn't provide her mother's full name or describe exactly where she had last seen her, which made the situation even more complex. After a brief consultation with Elon and the driver, the officers decided to take Maddie to the station to begin the search process. Elon, however, couldn't simply say goodbye and walk away. He offered his assistance, insisting on accompanying Maddie to ensure she was safe. "I won't leave her alone now," he said firmly. The officers, though surprised, accepted the help of this man who seemed so willing to care for a stranger. During the ride to the station, Elon started talking more with Maddie, trying to make her feel secure. Gradually, she opened up about her life, mentioning the struggles her mother faced in taking care of her. Each word revealed not just a momentary loss, but a much larger problem Elon couldn't yet fully grasp. Something told him this was only the beginning. At the police station, the search for Maddie's mother began immediately. While the officers checked records, Elon stayed by Maddie's side, offering small gestures of comfort. He told light-hearted, improvised stories, trying to coax a smile from her. Finally, after hours of tension, the door to the room opened, revealing a woman who looked exhausted and desperate. Maddie immediately ran into her arms, crying with relief. The scene was so moving that even the officers present were visibly touched. Maddie's mother, a woman named Clara, thanked Elon repeatedly, tears streaming down her face. She explained that she had lost track of Maddie during a frantic attempt to catch 2 different buses to get to work. Clara worked as a nighttime cleaner and, with no one to care for Maddie, had to bring her along. Elon listened in silence, but every word seemed to carry a weight he couldn't ignore. He saw in her story a struggle that so often goes unnoticed. After hours of conversation and more details coming to light, Elon made an unexpected decision that felt completely natural for someone like him. He contacted his team and asked them to find a home for Clara and Maddie. "They need a safe place to call home," he said, almost as a reminder to himself. Soon after, everything was arranged. Clara could hardly believe it when Elon handed her the keys to a new apartment, with a simple smile and a hug that conveyed her deep gratitude. The farewell was filled with emotion and hope. Clara and Maddie now had a safe place to live, free from the uncertainties that had followed them for so long. Elon, in turn, returned home feeling profoundly different. Something within him had changed. That simple decision to take a bus had led to an encounter he would never forget. Sometimes, life surprises us, showing that even the most routine moments can be the beginning of something extraordinary. Elon and Maddie's story makes us reflect on the impact that small decisions can have on other people's lives. How many times do we overlook situations that could be transformed by a simple act of kindness? By acting with compassion and courage, Elon showed that even someone accustomed to the grandeur of innovations can find purpose in the most human gestures. And you, what would you have done in his place? Would you have had the courage to step in? Stories like this inspire us to look around, pay attention to what truly matters, and make a difference, even if it seems small at the time. Sometimes, the biggest changes begin with a simple act of generosity. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss more incredible stories like this one. Don't forget to leave a comment about what moved you most in this journey, and share it with someone who could use a dose of hope today. Let's spread more love and inspiration everywhere.